from an abandoned storage building behind Wendy's. This is the Poor Taste Podcast with Dustin Sims. Is it comedy, or is he just working some shit out? Stay tuned and find out.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 28, maybe, of the Poor Taste Podcast. We recorded one on Easter. You're going to see it before this one, but also know that that's really behind because I got fucked up and I didn't take my laptop to the beach and I just whatever, man. I didn't fucking edit it and upload it. But you're going to see that before this one, but they're way behind. So, like, shit could happen, man. I hope somebody doesn't get bombed. And, like, why the fuck didn't they talk about this? Well, we're just a little behind, okay? There's a lag. It's like a Japanese film, okay?
Son of a fucking bitch. Are you talking about like, so then they went to do this and then the guy's like.
Yeah. Well, it's more like. You know what I mean? But whatever they say. I don't understand, dude. Like, have you ever seen fucking Chinese? Fucking Japanese or Chinese. But you just fucking Chinese writing, dude. I feel like somebody's just fucking around, dog.
Oh, man. I remember I was watching, Squid Games.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Korean. We're just hitting
it's all the goddamn same, man. Fucking everything.
I shouldn't say that. So, yeah.
But everything sounds racist when you talk like we do, so it doesn't matter.
You're right. I mean, you could be like the most empathetic person like me, but like it sounds fucking racist.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
But no, I remember like watching Squid Games whenever they were like in the beginning, and they were like. That guy's like, you moved.
Oh, yeah. And we can talk shit about the Koreans. I can't fucking watch this shit over there anyways, dude. You know what I mean?
Why? Because they're poor internet or because they can't fucking understand?
No, it's like Kim Jong-un. He won't fucking let them, dog. It's like straight up.
I thought that motherfucker was Chinese. He's Korean.
Get out of my face, man.
Are you fucking
Remember when he faked his death?
Kim Jong-un. Huh?
He's Korean. Yeah, dude. It's North Korea.
He's not dead, though. Like, he pretended to be dead. Remember whenever...
Yeah.
I do remember this. I remember researching, like, he used to go on this train, right? Mm-hmm. He used to ride this train. It was, like, a long train ride. And, like, people would, like, photograph the train to this undisclosed location.
Yeah.
And do whatever the fuck he was doing. I don't know, like fucking concubines or something. Like Korean concubines, if you can imagine.
What is that? What's a concubine?
That's a whore.
Oh.
that is prostitution.
Call it what it is.
That is prostitution. Concubines is,
I'm from Muscadine. We didn't have those.
Muscadine don't have concubines, okay? We just have straight up whores.
Yeah.
Just straight up sluts.
Meth heads.
Yeah, meth heads. Well, I mean, that's basically like the Korean version of whores, you know?
Okay.
Anyways. But, like, whatever he done in this. And they said that he had went out there and he didn't come back. And they were like, oh, fuck. He died.
He did.
And then all of a sudden he was like, I'm back.
Psych bitches.
Yeah, he's like,
they're all celebrating he's dead or whatever. And he comes back. It's like the opposite of Jesus, you know?
I was resurrected. The concubines resurrected me.
They brought him back.
Fuck, we're going to get goddamn canceled.
Who cares, dude? It's fine. I don't give a shit. So, Mike, we were trying to come up with, like, topics, things we want to talk about. And we're going to jump into the Johnny Depp, Amber Turd thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But Mike wants to talk about how did you describe it? Your massive ass?
Massive asshole. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So I know it.
Let's dive into your massive
asshole.
So
I know it's like mostly women that like deal with this stuff because like you get hemorrhoids like whenever you get hemorrhoids during birth. I mean, obviously, like you're under so much stress and like you push and this, that, and the other. Well, I looked up and like it was like common for women to get them, but like it's not so common for men to get them, right?
Yeah.
And that was interesting.
Well,
too.
When you live the lifestyle you live, it's common. I feel like the things you do with your anus.
Yeah, but I didn't push no baby out of my penis or nothing shit like that. But you know, hey, I done some like fucked up shit. Anyways, so there was like not once but twice I got in this situation. That's actually insane.
Whoopsie daisy.
So there was twice I got in a situation that I like had to go to urgent care. Like I had this massive fucking hemorrhoid, right? Massive hemorrhoid on my ass. Like, hey, this is just being real. So I had this massive hemorrhoid. It was so bad. I could not even work. I could not work at all. You know, could you imagine, like, every time you pick up, you got this golf ball hanging out of your ass, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so, and it itches. Why the fuck does it itch?
Yeah, that's...
Well, why? So then you're over here, you're like, you're like trying to scratch it in like the most
You're like the Charmin bears
way.
wiping their ass on the tree, dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but it was thrombosed, and that means, if you don't know nothing about thrombosed hemorrhoids, that is an outside the asshole hemorrhoid. And that is massive. It's
Bad as it gets.
It's a blood clot is essentially what it is. You have a blood clot in your vessel outside of your asshole, and it just continues to grow. It continues
How
to grow.
big did it get? Are we talking like a quarter?
Easily the size of I would say it was in between a quarter and a golf ball. It was easily, yes, hanging out of your ass.
Oh my
in between
God.
your cheeks. Like, it was fucking massive. And like at that point, you know, like dudes don't go to the fucking doctor.
Nah.
No, like, hey, I got this.
Yeah.
I've soaked in the tub. I've done all this.
Did you try to poke it back in?
Nah, see, I don't do all that. I don't.
You wasn't gonna
I don't go in and out. You know what I'm saying?
But okay.
Hey, but
How'd you get it?
Actually, I got it during leg day for one. One of them was during leg day. Like, I'm over here trying to like sumo deadlift, goddamn
70 pounds.
50 pounds over here, and I got a fucking hemorrhoid. But realistically, I done it during sumo deadlifts. And that was one of them. I don't remember when the other one came along. It just happened.
Yeah,
But-
I understand.
So when you have a thrombosed hemorrhoid, you have one or two options. They can give you suppositories to stick up your ass, which may or may not help. One of the two. It may help, it may not. The second option, whenever I had to lay on this table, face down. I had to lay on this table face down. And so the doctor come in, and the doctor was this like older gentleman, which I was very thankful for.
Right, yeah.
Very thankful for.
Yeah,
I did not want.
You don't want a bad bitch.
No, I do not want like no bad woman to come in here and be like, well, we're about to see your asshole.
Spread your cheeks.
Spread your cheeks. Let's see that ass.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was like this older gentleman. And I was like, okay, this is cool. So, whatever. And he was like, so, you know, I heard you had some, like, problems. I heard you had some, you know, hemorrhoid type
Oh,
deal.
cut the
And I was
fucking
like, okay.
shit, dog.
I was like, hey, I'm in pain.
Yeah.
I'm in pain. And it itches, and this is really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He's like, well, let's take a look at it. So the dude walks over there. He spreads my cheeks.
Oh, no.
Yes.
No,
I'm
he
laying down, asshole out.
He grabbed your butt. You spread them
yes,
apart.
he has to. He has to.
No, of course. But it's,
I mean, like, I'm giving it step by step. He walks over here. He spreads my cheeks. And he's like, Jesus Christ. Like, that was the first words out of his mouth. And as a doctor, you don't want to fucking hear that.
right. And you're like, wow, the hemorrhoid's huge. He's like, no, your asshole is just insanely massive. Like, what?
But, oh, it gets better. So, like, he walks over, he spreads my ass, and he's like, Jesus
You know I'm going to
Christ.
cut a lot of sound bites out of this, right?
Yes, I
walks over, he
understand.
spreads
I
my
definitely
ass.
understand. He spread my ass. That's definitely going to be a sound bite.
Ringtone.
He walked over and spread my ass.
Yeah, 100%.
And he's like, Jesus Christ. He said, so what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to, like, surgically remove this.
What?
And I said, huh? You're going to have to do surgery on my asshole.
Oh, no.
This is the first time I've ever heard of this. And he's like, yeah, it's not going to be that bad. He comes over and he shows me the needle. Motherfucker shows me the needle. I'm laying on my face on this table. Shows me the needle. And obviously he has to have like somebody there watching, right?
Yeah.
You know, just to make sure he don't stick his dick in or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever it is.
Feel two hands on your shoulders.
2 hands and something in my ass.
Wait a minute.
And he comes over and he shows me this needle. He's like, I'm going to have to like sedate the area, you know, with this, and he shows me, and it's this goddamn needle like this. And I told him, I was like, "Whoa, doc, whoa." I said, "You have to inject that needle into this massive like growth on my asshole," and he's like, "Yes, I do." And I was like, "Okay, well, you know, hey, you're the doctor here.
Stick it in my ass.
Stick it in. Hey, go ahead." And like he puts it in there, and it's very, very uncomfortable. If you never got a shot in your asshole, by the way, it's very uncomfortable. And he sticks it in there. He squirts all this like anesthesia, whatever the fuck you want to call this, anesthesia into my asshole.
He stuck the goddamn Anastasia in there. You know how
whatever
they do.
this shit is. I really can't believe I'm telling this.
No, it's fine. No, it's great.
And
it's just 3,000 people.
yeah, it's only like 3,000 people gonna know you got your asshole stabbed.
What's the problem?
So he sticks this, and like my asshole goes numb, and which, by the way, I'm very thankful that he like numbed my asshole first. And he gets out the scalpel, and he said it's a blood clot, and we have to cut it out. I'm like, all right, let's go. So he cuts it out. And I immediately feel relief, even though like I'm numb back there. Like I instantly know whenever this happened. Yeah, whenever it happens, and I was like, "Wow, this is great." And I was like, "I've never felt any type of relief before like this in my life."
You're like, "Yeah,
this is awesome." Like I went from walking around like a goddamn 80-year-old man to back to my 20-something-year-old self.
It's like, so it relieves so much like pressure and like
Yes.
everything, and then like you were like, it's fine if you just stick your dick in for a
Could
second.
you
Just put the
imagine
tip in.
walking around with a golf ball in between your ass that itches?
Nah, see, I had a similar experience with that Adderall side effect, but it was like more like a fucking pecan hanging out of my ass, but it didn't itch, but it made pee-pee dribble out.
Whoa.
Yeah.
See, I ain't never had no shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. He showed me the blood clot.
No, that's disgusting.
Oh, it's very disturbing.
I want to see
He
that.
cut this out of my
You have a picture
asshole
of it?
while... Actually, yes.
I don't want to see that.
No, I ain't got no
talk about
picture
it
of it. But, like, as I was laying, like, if you can picture this, I'm laying down, face down on the thing, and while he's cutting my asshole open. And I was like, man, this is really fucking bad. This is really bad. I don't want to experience this. I don't want to remember this. This is traumatizing. And, you know, he's like, okay, we're all done here. And all of a sudden,
Here's the sucker.
he's like, so this is what it was. And he sticks his gloved hand with a goddamn blood clot. Sticks it in front of me as I'm laying down. And he's like, this is what it was. And I was like,
What the fuck?
hey.
What if they did that at an abortion clinic?
This is what it was. This is it. We're definitely getting canceled after this. No, but he does. He like sticks his fucking blood clot like this.
Why?
I don't know.
Bitch, this ain't show and tell.
Yes, I don't know. Like
You gonna hang it on the fucking wall?
He sticks it right in front of my face as I'm laying down. He's like, here it is. And I said, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing here. I said, but I don't want to see that. I was like, hey, I really appreciate it, but I don't want to see that.
Man.
Like, I don't care
crying,
after it's out. I don't give a fuck.
I'm fucking crying, man.
I don't give a fuck. After it's out, just relieve the pressure and let me go. And I had to do this fucking twice. This isn't just a one-time deal. I thought it was a one-time deal, and I'd never have to do it ever again. But it happened twice. So I will say, like, if you ever have hemorrhoids, as soon as you figure out that you have this, you need to soak in the bath. Because if you don't, it gets thrombosed and it grows and grows.
What does
and
soaking
grows.
in the bath do?
Soaking in the bath relieves like the pressure in your blood vessels, and it lets like the blood flow through so it don't clot up. That's the problem. Whenever it clots up and it'll continue to grow. It'll grow and grow and grow. Like,
Fuck that.
Yeah. Like once it clots, it grows.
That's disgusting.
It doesn't
What does
get
it
any
look
better.
like?
It is
Like
very big, and it's goddamn purple and like black.
That's insane.
Yes, it's actually it's purple and black. So I feel really bad about saying that. Like I never felt bad about telling a story about my asshole until like you asked me what color it was.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line. It's like it's purple and black hanging out of my ass. You know. But it was like this purple.
Would you say that was the most demoralizing experience you've ever had? You know what's funny? And this is hilarious to me because you were like making fun of me. I was like, when I went and got a massage, and I was like, I was like, you got to go get a massage. This is fucking great. And I was like, the only weird part is like the chick like grabs your ass cheeks, they like massage your ass cheeks, and they spread your ass cheeks. And like I don't mind the massaging on my ass cheeks, but when she like spread them, and I felt the wind suck into my butt a little bit, I was like, man, that's weird. And you were like, what the fuck, goddamn faggot, you know? And I was like,
fucking faggot.
And I didn't know, like, you're over here, like, you got this man spreading your cheeks, so like sawing things off of your ass. So you over here talking shit about the massage. You'll get a massage, man. You would love that. Hey, it's a chick. And like, you know, you get everything else rubbed on. You know, you're not getting sawed on. Nothing's getting cut off of your anus.
There was a one, but I will say, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
There was so, like I said, it was an older guy doing the surgical procedure in this room.
Yeah.
But like I said, they had to have one person there to make sure, like, as a witness. I don't know, like that's a legal deal. But they had to have one person there as as like a legal witness. Now, the woman, it was a woman watching this go down. And, like, she was a young girl. She was like an apprentice.
Yeah.
And, like, you know.
Rethinking her whole fucking career.
Absolutely. And I felt terrible about this woman.
Yeah.
I felt terrible about this woman watching this man cut my butt open.
That's not the worst you've seen, I'm sure of it.
But I would be, you know. But really,
they pull things out of people's asses. They take things out of people's asses. They surgically go in and remove things from people's asses that they've rammed up in there. Like men, like my sister-in-law, she worked at the ER up here at RMC, and she said like her third day on the job, she had to pull like a 6.5-inch candle out of a 70-year-old man's ass.
Whoa, that got even crazier as it went on. A 70-year-old man is sticking a 6-inch candle up his
wife
ass?
Stuck it in there. They were trying to reignite their flame.
At 70?
Yeah, she shoved
Bro, what the fuck?
Like, he said that, like, she stuck it in halfway, and then, like, you know, once it gets to a certain point in your ass, your ass decides, hey, this must belong here. Just sucks it up in there, dude. That's why it feels so good when you stick it in your girl's butt, man, because they start saying, hey, this must belong here, and it's like...
Oh, you mean you're able to go more than 6 inches?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
You know.
No, he said halfway, 3 inches, bro. He said halfway, it sucked it up. Do the math. Now...
Well, you know,
never
mind.
It's all right.
Never mind. Never mind. Skip over that.
Okay.
So I talked about my asshole. But
20 minutes. 20 minutes we've talked about your ass. Let's see. I just got back from Destin. That's why I look Hispanic. I got burned out there, dude. I cut some floppy
Where's
titty.
your taco?
I was finna...
That doesn't mean the same thing as asking a woman, I'll tell you that.
No.
I'm fucking this up.
No, you're good. No, you're good. We were like, we took a spontaneous trip down to Destin, you know, and we were down there, and I like to get out there early, and I want to fish. I want to try to catch some pompano, and I got 2 lines I want to throw out. So I throw my lines out. I'm out there early, killing it. There's other people fishing, you know, and this lady comes up, and I'm reeling my line in because I can see that it's like moving down, like it's getting pulled. The fucking undertow's really bad. So I pull it in to check, see if my bait's still in there. It's off. So I reapply some bait. I'm about to throw it back out, and she's like,
"What was you fishing with? Was you fishing with shrimp?
Yeah, I used a shrimp.
Frozen?
Yes. It's the way to go. Last year I caught like 4 or 5 pompano. This guy had live shrimp down the beach. He's like, "What the fuck are you using?" I'm like,
"Frozen
shrimp." He's like, "What?" He's like, "That's trash." I'm like, "Bitch, it's working, bitch. What have you caught?" I gave him all the pompano.
What have you caught? Where's your fish?
Right. And then this guy beside us is using sand fleas. And I've tried sand fleas.
No,
you have a little bit of luck on them. But you're better off with the live sand fleas. Like I see people catching them out there, and that's the way to go if you can do that.
Are they that big though? Are sand fleas that big?
Some of them, yeah. You get this like it looks like a grape thing, and it's like it's on a stick. You go out there right at the water where the water comes up, and you scoop up the sand and like let the water splash it out, and then you'll catch them. They'll be live, and some of them are about that big. You can hook them right through the middle, and you want to have at least 2 hooks. I do 3. And like a 4-ounce weight, you walk out there to the first sandbar, throw it out, and you'll fucking catch the shit out of them. Yes. Well, this lady comes up, I'm about to throw my line back out, and she was like, fucking bitch. The way she said it, like if she'd have said it in a different way, I wouldn't have cared. Her kids are playing right here. But the line is way out there. You know what I mean? But I was like, whatever. She comes up, she's like, hey, could you just not throw out a second line? And I was like, I'm like 9 shots of Patron in. And I just stared at her. I was like, nah, I can't do that, but I will move down away from your children. I said, is that fair? And she's like, that would be nice. And she said it like a condescending way. And
bitch, could you not have any more kids?
I looked at her, and then I looked over at Kayla, and Kayla's sitting there because she already knows who she married, you know. And I looked at Kayla, and I said, that's once. And I went down here, and I threw my line out, and I was really salty about it. I was like, whatever. And I put my fucking line in. Well, I swear to God, I think this bitch cut my other line, and she comes up, and she's got it barely wrapped around her foot. It's barely, it's not, it's like she did it. You know what I'm saying? She comes
like she wrapped it around her toe.
She comes walking up. She's like, and she's like, your line's broke, I guess. It's wrapped around my leg. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just like trying to be chill, and I'm like reeling it in. And I was like, just unwrap it. And she's like, and she's like trying to act like she's panicking or whatever. She's like fucking caring. And I was like, get off of it. Get off.
And I'm
getting fucking heated. So like, I'm like, just get off the fucking line, you know? And like, so she wouldn't, so I bit it and I cut it off and I reeled it up and I went and I threw my fucking pole down. And I was like, I looked at Kayla, I was like, that's 2. And she's over here still looking at her leg. She's got the line around. I was like, bitch, I'm not untied it from your fucking leg, you retard. So I sit down and I'm fucking pissed.
What did she expect you to like jump in, swim out to where she was, and be like, oh my God.
Yeah. So finally, the third time she comes down there, because I was like, man, whatever. So I threw my other line out again, and she like rolls her eyes and was like, and I was like, bitch, take your floppy ass titties and you fucking kids down the fucking beach somewhere. I was like, you ain't gonna raise your voice at me. You fucking titties are like fruit roll ups. You know what I'm saying? And then so she sent her husband down there, and it was this dude, like he wearing a fucking sweater vest, dude. He's
and on the beach.
No, he did. He just had so much hair, like on his. He come walking over, and he was trying to act hard, and I was sitting down, and I just looked up, and I was like, motherfucker, this is not the place. I was like, you don't want to do this. And I was like, I swear to God, you'll have to shoot me out here. And he was like, no, I just want to apologize. She's just over dramatic about things, and I have to live with her. I understand it. He's like, but I'll just tell you, he's like, we don't have to worry about that no more. And I was like, good.
Cool.
I was like, pretend she's a horse with a broke leg. Go home and shoot her ass. And Kayla is just like, Jesus fucking Christ, what are we doing here? But I can't stand that, dude. Like, I was like, what do you miss Destin? Like, you own the beach?
All of this?
Kill yourself. Move on. Like, I don't give a fuck. I was like, bitch.
Speaking of which, we have a horse you can ride.
I'll ride it. Is it bad?
But okay. Let's tell the people about your first experiences with a horse at my father's ranch. Like my father owns a farm. He lives on a farm. There's horses, there's goats, there's it's a farm.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I've never rode a horse. I've always wanted to ride a horse. I've always had that in me. I've wanted to do that. I've never been around or I have the opportunity to do so, other than at like fucking fairs and shit. The gay ass.
Yeah, but that's not like a real experience.
I don't want to do that, you know. And like I could have done it in Gatlinburg. Like me and Kayla's tried to book some trips, and then we get up there and they're either booked up or things. Like I'm not a planner. I fly by the seat of my pants, so I don't make an itinerary.
That's the best way.
That's the best way. But not really when you want to do interesting shit. Like sometimes you have to like book the shit in advance, and like I'm not good at that. So usually things are booked up by the time we get up there, and so I've never had the opportunity to really like do that. And like Mike's dad, this is what he does, is the horse shit. So like I'm over there one day, and I was telling him about it. I was like, man, I would love to fucking ride a horse. He's like, I got one for you. So he takes me into the barn, and this is gigantic. I've never even seen a fucking horse this big. It's a fucking
massive stud.
It's a fucking dinosaur. And it's like looking at me, and I'm like, oh, no, dog. I say, I ain't riding that. I'm like, nah. And this thing just starts kicking the goddamn wall. As soon as it sees me, it's like, and it's just like blowing at me and shit.
Just throwing his head up, throwing his head up
the
and
fuck
down.
out. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, you want me to let him out? I was like, kill yourself. Kill yourself. I was like, no, don't let him out. I was like, I'll fight you until that thing kills me. I was like, we're not doing this. And he's like, come on, ride him. I was like, no. So now they're trying to put me on this fucking blind horse out there.
That has one eye. So Wendy is this horse that has one eye. Unfortunately enough, Wendy got...
We're going to have to document this. It's going to have to film it. Because it's probably going to break my fucking leg or something. No, it's going to break my fucking leg.
No. Wendy is like really chill.
I don't want to sit on the retard horse, man. I don't want to be out here.
It's not a retard horse. Like, she just has one eye.
I don't want you guys are like 4 miles ahead.
Okay.
I'm back here like.
We'll put you on the stud.
Nah,
that okay.
Okay. I'll ride with you. I'm just bullshit.
So I went and fed the stud like last week, right?
Yeah.
And I'm very experienced with horses. I had like horses from the day I was born.
You were bred into that world.
Yeah. I barrel raced. I done Western Pleasure. I raised and broke horses.
Western Pleasure. What is that?
Western Pleasure is much like so Western Pleasure is like lower grade barrel racing. Western Pleasure is like you just ride around on this horse. You make them look pretty, right? Like just shine their coats up, make sure they're like nice and well groomed, and like they judge you based on like how good your horse looks, and they grade you on that, and that's Western Pleasure. Barrel racing is completely different. No.
I thought Western Pleasure was like a hand job at a Golden Corral.
No, man, like that's like when you can't make it in barrel racing, you do Western Pleasure or racking, like racking horses.
Okay,
racking horses is funny, bro.
Is it? What is
racking
that?
horses is funny?
What is that?
So racking horses is like a different type of breed. You have like quarter horses, which do barrel racing, Western Pleasure, things like that. And you have racking horses, and racking horses just pick their feet up extreme, like they're very dramatic. They pick their feet up very high, so they're like just like that.
Yeah.
And like that's all they do is just run around the arena picking their feet up extremely high.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and the judges are like, wow, look at this fucking racking horse we're running around here picking his feet up 6 feet. That's it.
You just train them to do that.
You put, actually, how you get like a racking horse to pick their feet up even higher is you put these big blocks, like whenever you're a farrier or like a horseshoer, you put these big, massive blocks on the bottom of their feet.
Oh, so the weight
makes them think that like their feet are very heavy. So like they pick their front feet up.
Isn't that kind of fucked up?
It's really fucked up. But you know,
I'm not sitting here like I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck.
It's probably really fucked up, but like that's how
your dad
bred.
punches horses in the faces. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so the story behind that is my father was a farrier, which if you don't know what that is, he like shoes horses for these events like barrel racing and stuff like that. And that is a very like back-breaking job.
Yeah.
Very back-breaking job. Like, to put that in perspective, you have this 1,000-pound animal, and you have to turn around and put their leg in between your crotch.
Oh no!
You have to like take their front legs, put them in between your crotch, file them down, and nail shoes. And you have this hairline around this, just like your fingertips. You have this hairline that you can't hit. You have to nail on the outside of the hairline. It would be like the quick of your fingernail. So you're nailing on. You have to get as close to this line as you can. And if you go into the quick, that's exactly like going into the quick on your fingernail. Like if you drove a nail into your quick, could you imagine that? Like that would be extremely painful. Extremely painful. But on the outside, it's not that painful. Like it's normal.
So what do they do? Like if you hit that, they'll kick the fuck out of you?
They go goddamn crazy. Then they have this sedative called ACE.
How do you know where the quick is at on a horse? Can you see it?
You can see it.
Oh, okay.
It's a line. Yeah, you can see it. It's a line, just like your fingernails. Like they turn white on the outside.
Yeah.
Quick. So it's like that, but you nail on as close to the line as you can.
Right.
And It's funny. It's almost like a doctor type thing. Like if a horse, like wild horses, have awful hooves. Like their hooves grow out, they bust, they break, and it's very
unmaintained.
Yes, it's very detrimental to like their health.
Really?
Yes, it's very detrimental. Like shoeing horses, like progress them as they moved along in time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It really progresses.
It increases their life expectancy and stuff.
Absolutely. It's that right there is what made them live to 20, 30 years old.
Wow.
Which is insane for a horse.
Yeah, when we
20 to 30 years.
We stayed in that tree house in Orlando, and this lady had 2 show horses. She said they were like big time, like hybrid, like show horses. And she said now they're like 27 and 30.
That's actually, I want you to understand that's insane.
Oh, she was telling me about it, and like I got to pet them and stuff, and like they were still like fucking yoked, dude. And I was like, wow. But you could tell by their fur, their coat, that they were old, and and I was like, wow.
You can also tell by their teeth, like they don't have very many teeth.
Yeah, and she said that like now you can't ride them. She said it hurt them, if you rode them. She said, but. She said they're just nice to look at, and like she said they're real sweet and stuff. But
she
said they were going to put them down, and they bought them.
Yeah. Like that is a very good that's a very good example of like a good person. Like they know this horse isn't worth anything to them.
Yeah,
this horse is very old, 27. I want you all to know that is very, very old. I've dealt with horses my entire life. And the oldest that I've ever seen a horse is 23.
Wow.
That is extremely old.
Well, she was telling it was
honestly, that's probably like Guinness Book of World Records like type shit.
No shit.
Yes. A horse that lives 20 to 30 years
she said they had like a ridiculous bloodline. She said that they were like hardcore.
And that's another big deal. Like it's insane. They have like pedigrees and stuff, kind of like dogs. And the better their pedigree is, the better you expect them to be. And honestly, the better they are. Yeah. It's crazy.
Genetics.
It's absolutely genetics.
That's like people, I think, in a sense, like for them,
Man, let me tell you, I've learned something about genetics with my family. So, all right, let's just dive into this since we just, we ain't got shit else to talk about.
What are we going to do?
So, genetics. Like, me as a person, I'm very empathetic, and I've known that, but, I didn't know, where it came from. And after my grandfather passed, I got to talking to my grandmother, and she told me about my great-grandfather on my grandmother's side and my great-grandfather on my grandfather's side. So, it's crazy to think that, empathetic and, that I brought that trait along. 4 generations, I brought that trait along. Yeah. But what also I brought
almost
along,
the point that it's crippling.
Yes, absolutely. To where it hurts. Like my great grandfather during the Great Depression. This is actually insane. If you know anything about how do I say this? Like inflation. If you know anything about inflation, during the Great Depression, money wasn't big. Right. If you had a little bit of money, you were doing well.
You had a lot of money.
Yeah. In 1955, which is 30 years after the Great Depression, my grandfather started work for $1 an hour, and that was big money.
That's insane.
Big money. $1 an hour. And he eventually got a raise to $1.25. That's big money. So during the Great Depression,
think about some bitch that out on the street I make $1.25 and they're like, oh, you can get this pussy.
Yes. Yes. You make $1.25.
You heard about John? John's making $1.25 an hour.
I sucked him off in the. I sucked him off in the fucking bootleggers parking lot.
He got that new Model T. Ho, are you shitting me?
That is hilarious. So, my grandfather, he owned a coal business back in there. My great grandfather, I'm sorry, he owned a coal business back during the Great Depression. And my grandmother had ledgers when she was young of thousands of dollars during the Great Depression. Like $1,000 that's a pretty substantial amount of money now. Like I feel like
it's like $20,000 now.
Yeah, I feel like
easy.
Everybody is like if you just walked up to a random person today in 2022 and said, "Hey, I'll give you $1,000," they would be ecstatic.
Right? Yeah.
Like that is a very good, substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that back in
in the Great Depression?
Yes.
Yeah.
In like what 1925,
1930,
1930, something like that.
I'm not huge on history. I don't know a lot.
I don't remember exactly.
I think it's around 1930.
But like that was just one, and like this man become a great politician, and my great grandfather like fronted him coal so he could heat his home and keep his family alive all of this time. And the man become a politician, made millions of dollars. Like for sure his family is set for life.
Did he ever pay for it?
No. Man never paid for any of it.
Should've killed him.
Yes, absolutely. And that was just one instance. There was so many instances. She had ledgers. Like I said,
you're like that though. That's what you're talking about.
That's my main story. It's like it's brought down from four generations.
You're too nice to a fault, and I tell you that all the time. Like,
yeah,
you're too empathetic to a fault.
Until I get drunk.
Yes. When you're drunk, you're exactly where you need to be.
Please tell me the dramatic change. So I'm very empathetic, and I don't go out of my way to hurt your feelings or anything like that
until you're drunk.
Until I'm drunk. But when I'm drunk, it's like a light switch.
It's on sight.
Flips.
It's on sight. I've never seen anything like it. You're just like my little brother. My little brother is like that. Dalton is so quiet and so nice, and he will not stand up for himself. Like I used to have to really take up for him all the time. But when he is drunk, it is he's beyond. He goes beyond not taking up for himself. He becomes the threat. He's he's a menace. He
fucking sins.
He's targeting people and causing a fucking chaos, and then I have to clean that up. And if I told him, I'm like, if I'm ever the voice of reason, you're fucking up. You are fucking up. You're supposed to be the sane one here. That's how I feel about you. When you get real shit faced, man, wore out, and you'll just start causing a ruckus, and I'm like, wow. I catch myself being the responsible one. I'm like, this feels like my dick is out in Walgreens. This is weird, It's funny though. We were in a bar one time. This is like a restaurant. And me and Mike sitting here at the bar, and there's these bikers. And, let's be honest. There's bikers that are really bikers, and then there's bikers who, pretend to be bikers. Yeah. And these are people who pretend to be bikers. And then they wear these vests, and their wives, they'll fucking iron on these little things, and they think they look cute, and they'll ride their little shit out. Okay, this is those people. And they're sitting at this table, and there's 7 or 8 of them. And I go by, I knew a couple of them I went to school with, so I go by, and I'm just fucking with them, and I was like, what's going on? I was like, what are you guys drinking on? And they were telling us it's this beer. And I was like, what is that? I ain't even fucking heard of that. And they were like, it's a berry beer. And I was like, a berry beer? I was like, you guys are fucking bikers, dude. You drinking berry beers for you fags, And I was just busting their balls. Well, I went back and I didn't even think nothing about it. I went back and sat down at the bar with Mike. This big motherfucker gets up, and he comes over there, and he stands in between me and Mike. And I guess he was so drunk he couldn't remember who said what. So he comes up and he stands between us, and he was like, I want to know what the fuck you said over there. And I turn around, and I just got this confused look on my face, and Mike turns around and says, what the fuck did you just say? And he was like, are you Dustin? And Mike's like, motherfucker, I can be. And I'm out fucking fell out. I was like, there's 8 of these motherfuckers, man.
100% was going to get our ass whooped.
This guy himself could probably just beat the shit out of both of them. I was like, hey, no, he's fucked up. I'm Dustin. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I was just busting y'all's balls. You're drinking a faggot beer, man. You know that. You know that. And you know that. And,
it was in it was in one of the fucking martini glasses.
Yeah. Come on, man.
It's not even a tall boy.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. But it's so funny, man. Like, one time I had beef with this guy, and I got mad at him, man, and he did some fuck shit. And so I was trying to hit him up, and I was like, let's just meet up. I was like, just settle it like men, you know. I was like, you know, you whoop my ass or I whoop your ass, however it goes, it would be the end of it, you know. And he wouldn't do it. And he was like, no. And he was a big pussy about it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. He ain't worth it, you know. So I let it go. Well, me and Mike were at a bar one night, and he's outside. We're outside. He's vaping, you know, and he's sitting there talking shit. Well, that guy was there, and he comes walking outside, and he's got 2 Coronas in his hand. He sees me, and he comes walking up to us, and Mike just looks at him, and he already knew that me and this dude had beef. And before I could even say anything, Mike jumps up. He was like, "Oh, motherfucker, you are right on time." And the dude's like turns white as a ghost. He's like, no. I don't want no problems. I'm bringing beer as a truce. I'm like, I don't want no fucking beer, man. Just fucking go on, dude. But it was so funny. Like, when Mike is drunk, don't do it. It is on site. It's on site. You know what I'm saying? And like,
I would never forget that for the rest of my life. I was sitting outside drinking a Corona in my hand, and like, this man walks outside, and I was vaping. Like
right on time, motherfucker.
And I turned and looked at him, and like, I slammed my beer bottle down on the table at the same time he walked out. As soon as I seen him, I knew it was go time. And I took that beer bottle and I put it down on the table like exceptionally hard that it made a loud noise.
Yeah.
I was like, "You right on time, motherfucker." And
I love that.
Bro, I will never forget the look on his face.
I
will never, ever forget the look on his face. And honestly, like, I don't know how many it would have took to, like, kick my ass, but I know there was a lot.
There
was a lot.
They had enough of them, but he wouldn't have been able to do it.
No, him by himself.
No.
But if all of them would have got, like, I would have been in the hospital for sure.
No, we'd both been in the hospital. They'd had to shoot us.
Yes.
I got that thing, man. Like, it's just like my brother. You whoop my ass, but you got to do it every time you see me afterwards.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time
you
you
gonna have
run
to just
into
kill me one. Yeah. Like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I already got 3 teeth missing. I don't care to lose some more. You know what I'm saying? We'll fucking run it. But that Mike is hilarious when he's drunk. Mike is either blackout drunk or ready to fucking beat somebody's ass. We were at the Braves game, dude. His ass is to elbows. Me and Kayla's walking through. Mike's behind us. Some guy bumps into Caleb, like, barely. You know what I'm saying? And Mike says, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Hey, you see that?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, he said, "That guy bumped into Kayla." And then Kayla's like, "He barely hit me." And Mike's like, "Fuck him. Fuck that motherfucker." And I was like, "Did he say something out of the way?" And Mike's like, "I don't give a fuck." And Kayla's like, "It's fine." And I was like, "Are you good?" And she's like, "Yes." And Mike's like, "Man, fuck him." And I was like, wow. And everybody's ass is the elbow.
Some random fucking guy.
Dude, it's so funny. Like, Dalton that night, man, like, I've never seen my little brother like this. My little brother's been such a pussy his whole life. Like, he used to let this guy bully him that he worked with, and, like, we saw him out one night. He goes, "Oh, that's that guy." And I was like, "Oh." So I whipped in. I was like, "Let's go beat his ass."
Fuck yeah.
And Dalton's like, No. And he starts freaking out. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "This guy got you like that?" And he's like, "It's fine." He's like, I don't want to do this. It's gonna be embarrassing if you're here, like, trying to take up for me." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Well, fuck him, dude. Let's whatever." And whatever. He was a little kid too, and I was like, "Man, I can't do it anyway." So I was like, "Whatever." So we left. But then we're fucking heroes one night. We're shooting pool, and we're playing with that dude Mackenzie and fucking Corbin. And Corbin looked like Adam Levine from, you know what I'm saying, like from Maroon 5. And
yeah.
Mackenzie was huge, and his name was Mackenzie. Like, that's the last person you ever. It's like a boy named Sue. You don't want to fuck with somebody named.
You don't want to fuck
Mackenzie.
No,
Absolutely, he's been in some,
especially if he's big.
Yeah, he's been in some scraps.
Yeah, absolutely. He had to like fucking fight for that.
And
name.
Dalton is trash at pool when he's sober. He's really bad when he's drunk. And like at that time, that's when I was pretty fucking good. And like I was kicking their ass by myself, and then Dalton would come up and just fucking fuck it up. And I was like, "Hey man, why don't you just quit?" And he got mad at me, and he was like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "You
Dalton did?"
Yeah, and he was like, "You disrespected me?" in front of these people? And I said, "Do
What
what?"
the
I said,
fuck?
"No, bro." I said, "You're just trash at pool right now." I said, "You're fucked up. Sit down. Let me beat them." I said, "We got $20 on the line." And he was like, I was like, and I don't give a fuck. It ain't about the money. I
Bro,
just
that's
don't.
funny. We got $20 on line.
It's not
Goddamn.
it ain't about the money. It's a principle. I don't want these motherfuckers taking my. I don't want some dude named Mackenzie taking my money.
No, you'd never live that down.
So I was like, sit the fuck down and let me shoot this one. I was like, we can get the next one. He was like, fuck you and fuck them. And he turned around and said, fuck them. And that Corbin guy was like, what the fuck did he just say? I said, he's drunk. I was like, he's drunk. And Dalton says, nah, fuck you, motherfucker, you Adam Levine looking bitch. And I was
My fucking God.
uh-oh. I was like, uh-oh. And I was like, hey. And I jumped in between them. I was like, he's fucked up. And Dalton's like, and that guy's like, no. I wish he'd say it again. And Dalton gets over. I said, he's drunk. And Dalton leans over. And by the way, Dalton never talks shit. He's
Never.
so chill.
No.
So
Dalton
quiet.
never
He's
talks
tore
shit.
up. And he gets over my shoulder and he was like, I will fuck you up. And the guy, and at this point, that's my brother, man.
That's hilarious. So you got to stick up.
And
for
so
it,
I
man.
was like, and the guy goes, well, and I was like, well, I guess we got to fuck you up. And he was like, and the guy was like, he's drunk, man. He's drunk. And Dalton's like, I'm going to sit at the bar. So he goes and sits at the bar, and I play pool with him. Whoop their ass. It don't matter. What don't matter? Whoop their ass, though. So then, me and Kayla sitting there, and she's like, where's Dalton? Is he okay? I was like, I don't know. He's fucking freaked out and left. So we go up to the bar, and he's sitting up there. And as soon as I walk up, I can hear him, and he's telling this guy with his ponytail, he's like, Sam Hunt was the greatest quarterback to ever play at UAB. And I was like, I got to get this motherfucker out of here.
Did Sam Hunt really play for UAB?
Yeah, he was a quarterback at UAB. Yeah, he was a quarterback at UAB. He was good. No, he was good. No,
I had no idea.
He was
Sam
legit,
Hunt played for
statistically,
UAB.
probably one of their best quarterbacks ever. Now, right now, in the
That's
past several
goddamn
years,
insane.
they've been decent. So I don't know if that's
He
true.
could have okay. From this man's point of view, I'm not trying to slow this down.
No.
But from this man's point of view, he could have been a pro football player.
Yeah.
He could have got scholarships. He could have got all that. He was like, you know what? Nah. I know I have that in the bag. Let me do something else. Let me sing.
Would you rather risk your health and all that shit for football when you can
Insane,
sing and get
man.
just top tier puss the rest of your life?
That is definitely what am I trying to say? That's definitely maybe a George Jones type ordeal.
Are you trying to compare Sam Hunt to George?
No.
I'll smack the fuck out
No,
of
what
him.
I'm saying is how I'm trying to compare him is in that instance, he's like, you know what? I already have this in the bag.
Oh, okay.
So if you knew for a fact, if you weren't a comedian, you knew for a fact that you had something in the bag. If anything else, let's say you were really good at doing anything else.
Yeah. You were prolific at
Yes.
something.
And you
But
knew
you
for a
didn't-
fact that you could do this.
But you don't love it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be able to change. That takes
Listen, he's blessed with genetics. Honestly,
Yeah.
you're
That
an
takes-
athlete. You're athletic. You're an athlete, but you can sing, and you have that choice of being. Do you have that choice of okay, what are you going to put your time into? All right, and you're like, do I want to put my? If he put his time into football, he could have probably been a really good football player.
Yeah.
But it's
But
he chose
athletes
sing.
don't get paid like singers.
It depends.
I will
you
say
have to
this.
be. You have to be. Yeah. If you get in the NFL, you do.
Well,
But that's really fucking that's a small percentile.
I just watched this reel on a guy. I can't remember his name. I don't want to put out some name that I don't know.
Okay.
So, but I can't remember this name. This guy was a pro athlete in his prime, right?
Yeah.
And he said he made money during that time. He really made money. Mm-hmm. But now he said he's been broke since 87.
Here's the
he
thing.
said he's been broke since 87.
Let me tell you something. Here's the thing, and I don't mean this in a fucked up way, but most pro athletes, if you if you break it down statistically, most athletes who are prolific are black, right? Like,
Oh,
let's be honest.
absolutely,
There's
yes.
a higher percentage.
Yeah,
And most of
absolutely.
those come from extreme poverty, okay? And
Exactly.
They work.
Yes.
They don't know how money works. Now, you get a lot of money coming in. A lot of them spend a lot of money. And instead of investing.
The man was black.
Right. And then instead of investing it and learning how to grow their money, and then like, if you can take it and then invest it and then live off of the interest and the residual stuff, then you're fine. But a lot of these people, they'll get fucking loaded. Like Mike Tyson. Dude, Mike Tyson made $600 million.
Wow.
And blew it.
Blew it all.
Over $500 million.
I cannot even imagine. Like,
now,
anybody listening, could you imagine blowing that kind of money?
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, I have it's a Conor McGregor quote, but I really believe in it because Conor McGregor says, I have an unhealthy obsession with spending money, but I have a healthy obsession with making money.
Yes.
And like,
that's like the epitome of champagne taste with a beer budget.
right. Yeah.
You know?
And it is.
But like, that's how you want to be.
Nah, yeah. And I'm not one of those, like, I obviously, like, I want to get to the point that, like, I can, help my mom, get my mom a spot, and, like, help the in-laws. And, like, I want to leave a little bit for my kids, but I don't want to leave a lot for my kids because I don't want my kids to be fucking spoiled. I don't want my kids to have no drive. I don't want my kids to be, like, country club kids that have, no, like, they're just depressed all the time. And, like,
Elon Musk and Kevin Hart really, like, dive into that. Especially Kevin Hart. He is one to be like, yeah, I've made all of this money.
yeah.
But like that is my prerogative. That is me working to get this. This is mine.
yeah.
And he feels the same way. And I think there was like one other person that like
Steve Harvey is a big one.
Steve Harvey is a big one. Yes.
He says he's going to spend
absolutely.
Steve Harvey said he'll spend 85% of everything he makes on him and his wife.
Yes.
He said he might leave 15% to his kids, maybe.
And, like, I really feel like that's how it should be. Like, once you master that,
yeah.
I've never been in that situation. Like, don't get me wrong. I work a dead-end job at, like...
It's not a dead-end job. You have a good job.
Well, it's a fairly good job. I work a fairly good job. I make decent money. And, like, I provide for myself.
Yeah.
But...
And you could provide for a family if you have
absolutely, yeah. But, like, to have that extensive amount of money, he's like, okay, this is mine. I want to instill this in my children that you have to work.
Yeah.
You have to make your own destiny.
Yeah.
And, like, I really back that. Even though I don't have children of my own, I really back that.
Yeah.
Because it's just like Jordan Peterson says. He's like, great men, like successful great men make weak men.
Yeah. Easy.
And like,
because it makes easy times.
Exactly.
Like the way we grew up.
Easy times. And easy times make harder times.
Yeah.
And then,
it's a vicious cycle.
Yes. 4 generations later, you finally get back up.
Yeah.
But if you change that, it could continue on.
Yeah.
It could continue on. If you just let children think for themselves. That's been my biggest thing. It's like I don't have children of my own, but I feel like if children think for themselves, don't make them want to follow in your footsteps. Let them be their own person.
Exactly.
Let them figure out what's great about themselves.
Yeah. That's very important.
Yes. And let them pursue that. And once they figure out what's great about themselves and they dive into that, they'll be unstoppable.
If you shut down their passions early, they fall right into the 9 to 5.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Get into it. Yeah. If you because when they tell you things that they want to be when they're a kid, yes, they're absurd. Yes, they're silly, but agree with it.
Yeah, it's what they like.
Say yeah. In that moment, that's exactly what. And say yeah, I support that. And like they know they have your support. If you shut that down early, they fall right into that trap of the 9 to 5. They're like, oh, I got to get into this job. I got to do this, or I have to go to college, or I have to do this. If you support whatever they're into at that time, now, as long as it's not fucking insane, obviously, you know what I'm saying? Like,
as long as it's not like,
but as long as you
stripping on a pole.
Right, yeah, right. If they're saying that at like 6 years old, it's like, hey, maybe we should.
I'm trying to keep my boys out of jail.
Can you still get an abortion at this point? Like, can we just abort this child?
My daughter's out of AA. Or stripper balls, Trying to keep my boys out of AA.
I've seen it with my kids, and this is something I learned. Like, my kids love the arcade. I loved the arcade when I was a kid. I didn't get to go that much. Like, we just didn't get to go to the arcade that much. So I was like, my kids love the arcade. I want to take them at an early age.
Yeah.
Now I took them, and at first they would get like 50 or 60 points at the arcade. They want to go up there and they want to get this bullshit little toy.
Yeah.
And I finally explained to them, I was like, hey, why don't we just wait a few rounds, build them up, save some shit up, and then you can get something bigger.
Yes.
Well, they got addicted to that. And then at one point, we eventually saved up like 6,000 or 7,000 points of thing. And they could
Which that is fucking insane for like
yeah, and they
tickets.
Got
That's
something
insane.
really nice. And then like it sparked something inside of them that like when they started getting more, like they spent all of it when they got something big. And they were like, oh, we're empty. And they hated that. And so they wanted to go back and they wanted to build their points back up. Well, now they're at the point where they get a little allowance if they do things. And like my Talon, he saved up his allowance for the past, couple of years. And he's got like $300 or $400 saved up. And he doesn't want to spend it.
Which that is insane.
That's a lot of money for that.
That's insane.
And he doesn't want to spend it. He's like, I want to save it and see how big I can get it. And I was like, wow. That's crazy. That's
insane.
I didn't have it.
No. Like, as a child, I would have spent that.
Right.
100%.
Right.
You have this money. Like, as a child, you got to think, how old is Talon? 9?
Yeah.
He is 9. So, at 9 years old, this man has $400, which is an exceptionally.
He's got it in a little safe too, and his room is hilarious. Like he's like on the fucking gold mine in there.
Yes, absolutely. I remember when I was 16 years old, back in maybe like 2000, I don't know, 14.
Yeah,
2014. I was saving $100 a week, and like that was good money to me.
Yeah, hell yeah.
$100 saving $100 a week was good money to me.
Yeah.
And to think that this guy's 9 years old
and
he's saved up $400.
The same way, like she is like it's different. Like she's following, like she wants to be like Talon. Like she wants to be like her older brother.
Yeah.
And like so she'll like following his. She's got like $140 saved up, which is
that's still good money.
Good,
and she's even younger than Talon.
Yeah, and what's cool about it is like Talon got this gift card for his birthday, a $50 Target gift card.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to spend it. He's like, I'll hold on to it. Well, then we went the other day.
Fucking crazy.
Well, yeah.
I want you to know that's fucking
It's
crazy.
insane.
That's insane.
But it's also, I will say, a little bit of it is because I will say I'm bad. I spoil them, but not too much. I don't want to ever over spoil them.
Right.
And I don't want to give them everything that they want because I want them to have that drive.
Yeah.
But I do spoil them. But like, like the other day, he wanted to go to Target with me, and me and him. I had to go pick up some medicine and stuff, and he was like, "It's Embry's birthday tomorrow." He's like, "I want to get her a gift," and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Get her one of these LOL balls. They're like $9." And he was like, I want to go all in. I was like, "You want to go all in?" He's like, "Yeah." So he like throws 4 of them in the cart. He goes and picks her out like a Barbie doll. And he's like, "I know she likes hair bows. I want to get her hair bows." He spent like like $57. He spent his whole gift card, and then he didn't have any more.
Wow.
And I was like, I'll do the other 7. It's fine. So he spent his whole $50 gift card. He was like, it's fine. He wanted to spend that on his sister.
He already has principles.
Yeah. He wanted to spoil her. And I was like, wow, that's cool. But
That's
then also, I did hear him like talking to her, and like she said something that he didn't like, and he's like, I should take all that stuff back. And I was like, no. I was like, we don't do that. I was like, we don't hold shit over people's head. But it was interesting to me, man. Like you just learned, like I don't know.
That's fucking crazy. I don't mean to like cut you off.
No.
That's like fucking crazy.
That's
because
wild.
you think back to when me and you were like 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know each other at that time, but 8, 9 years old, you weren't really thinking about money and other people's feelings.
No, at 8, 9 years old, yeah, dude, I was
You were only thinking about yourself.
I had a few dollars. I remember one time, I remember my stepdad, I don't want to say stepdad. It's really my dad. He adopted me when I was 5. He's my dad. It's my dad. I don't mean to say that. It's just like technically what it is. You know what I mean? I remember when I was like I guess I was about 9 or 10. He had lost his job, and Mom was the only one working. And I had lost, I don't know how old I was. I guess I was younger than that because I had lost a tooth, and the tooth fairy brought me like a few dollars.
Damn.
And I was like, man, I knew at the time that the food fairy wasn't real.
Yeah.
So I took the money from my pillow, and then that next night I went and put it under my mom's pillow. I was like, you just keep this. So I was like, you know. And as a child, I remember like knowing like you don't have enough money to be doing this.
Hey, I want you to realize, like, I don't know if you've like ever recognized this, but do you realize that was probably a huge turning point in like your mom and like your dad, your stepdad's life? Like, they recognize that you knew the value of $1. So you knew for a fact that
I knew this shit wasn't real.
yes, you knew that this wasn't real. You were so far advanced at such a young age that you knew, okay, I'm going to put this back into the pot.
Yeah.
Like, hey, y'all need this. I understand that you
Well, yeah,
need
because there was
power.
times
Yeah.
that like our power would get cut off and shit, and like I would come home from school and there would just be a yellow tag on the door, and I was like, "Fuck, man,
Yeah.
we got no TV and shit."
That's actually insane to me. That you, at that age, you knew.
Oh, dude, I remember one time I was literally like 12, man, and Aaron's was in our driveway. I got off the school bus, and this Aaron's truck was in our yard. And this guy was like, "Well, bro, you live here?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's my house." Yeah. And, you know, he's like, "Your parents home?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, I don't know how to say this." He's like, "But I'm supposed to pick up y'all's TV." And I said, "Well, you're going to have to wait till my daddy gets home." I said, "I'm not letting you in this house." I said, "I'm not allowed to let anybody in the house." And he was like, "Well, I just got to get the TV." I said, "Well, that sucks for you, dog." And I went in there and I locked the door. And then, like, Mom shows up.
That sucks for you, dog.
I was like, I man. I was like, man. But I remember going to school and telling people, I was like, man, like, that's when you learn where you register as a child.
Yeah.
Like, that's when I remember learning, like, at that age that where I was at. Like, people were like, some people get their cars repossessed. I didn't know why you get their fucking, like, TV and their lamps repossessed.
Yeah. It was crazy. Like, my father, so this is how I grew up. In my early age, I was really big into horses, right?
Yeah.
So there was every day we'd feed the horses. We would train the horses. We'd barrel race. We would like train them depending on like what level they were.
Yeah.
Younger horses, obviously, you had to like train them up until barrel race, and you had to train them to walk. You had to train them to lope. You had to train them to run. Mm-hmm. You had to train all this just like a child. It's just like a child, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, if you've ever raised horses, you know for a fact that it's just like a child. And I know for that, but I've never had children of my own.
Yeah.
And, like, that's crazy to me to think about. But anyways, it's just like a child. You raise them from a young colt or filly up until they're grown. And, like, they're with you for 10 to 20 years. Like, that's a big portion of your life.
Time,
you have a connection with these animals.
And it's a commitment.
It's definitely a commitment. I'll never forget ever. Pop was the name of my horse. He was like Pop's Royal Bar was his full name. And Pop's Royal Bar was a great horse. He was a great horse. He had a great pedigree. He was his dad sold for $45,000.
Oh shit.
His dad sold for $45,000 whenever he was like a barrel racing horse.
Damn.
And my father bought me this colt. And I trained him. I barrel raced him. Like, he was a great horse. But, like, he was just, like, really skittish. And, like, that's, you know, you understand that whenever they're young. They're 3, 4.
Right.
And, like, he hurt me. Like, I'm not going to lie. He hurt me really bad. Like, he run down a hill, he threw me into a tree, he bucked me off. Like, he really fucking hurt me.
Yeah.
But I understand, like, we had a connection as a horse.
But you
like,
also knew he was a child.
Yes. I also knew, like, he was a very young horse, and I understood that. And, like, I took that into consideration. And, like, I didn't whoop him. Like, you know, I understood that he was a very young horse, and, like, he was just skittish. He just knew.
You had to guide him.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, this did hurt me, and it took me, like, weeks to, like, recover. It took me weeks as a young child to recover from this. He run down a hill, threw me into a tree.
You told me about that, yeah.
And, like, he skint every piece of skin that I had off of my back. Every piece of skin. Like, I was completely skint from my ass all the way up to my neck. I was skint.
Hey, man.
And
if you're trying to, like, get me on a horse, this is not the way to do it.
No. No, I'm not trying to get you on a horse, but, like, you got to understand, like, it's really, like, man, I would never. One thing that my father has distilled in me is, like, you have to have a relationship with a horse. Like, you have to have a relationship with animals. Period. Animals, period. I don't care what it is. You need to understand animals.
Yeah.
About how, like, to understand life. And that was, like, a big part of my life. Like, I knew that I was raising this horse. I knew that he was a child at the time, quote unquote, a child or a filly. And I knew that I had to, like, progress him through life. And I progressed him all the way up until he was a great barrel racer. Yeah. He became a great barrel racer. Pop was a really good horse with a really good pedigree. Like I said, his father, his mother, great barrel racers. All the way up through that. And, like, I just got out of it. I knew that wasn't me. Like, after Pop got to where he needed to be. Like,
so you stayed in it for him, basically.
Yes. I absolutely, like, you have to have.
That's a father mentality.
You have to have, you have to have, like, a relationship with this horse. I was there every single day after school. Every single day I would go over there and I would talk to Pop. I would, like, you know, I would ride him.
You think he'd understand you?
Absolutely. He knew me.
That's interesting.
He knew me. I had a handful of horses, but Pop was definitely top tier. He, like, understood me. He knew exactly what I wanted from him. He knew exactly what I meant.
What you expected.
Yes. And that has, like, really fucked me up in later life.
Why?
Because, like, think about this.
Think about this.
So,
you should expect
any
to
animal,
be as a father, like your kids to know what you expect from them, and you put the time in. And
it is, but, like, think of that as, like, a young boy, right? Think of like,
you feel like you wasted time.
No, I feel like I really made my time. I feel like Pop's life is just as much as important as mine. I was so close to that horse that I was just as close to that horse as, like, my own life.
Right.
So everything that I've done with him was like a child.
Yeah.
You know, even at a young age, and, like, at a young age, I grew up, like, way before I should have grown up.
That's interesting.
So I felt like I was raising a child, even though I was raising.
You was a child yourself.
Yes, I was a child raising a child.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And he, honestly, Pop become a great barrel racing horse. I'm talking top tier.
It had to feel good.
Like, for his life, for, like, that horse's life, that had to be amazing.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, that, it didn't feel good to you that you helped to bring him to that point?
Once we sold him, I, like, never really, I didn't, like,
but you built him to that point.
I built him until that point,
You groomed him to that. It has to feel good. Like, I feel like that's being a dad. I feel like as a dad, you have your children for a certain amount of time. That's why I told you I watched that fucking reel this morning. As soon as I woke up, and I started crying like a fucking bitch, dude.
Because it showed like younger.
Yeah, you see how time passes you so quickly. Like these reels on Instagram of like the little babies, and then they hit that like that little beat, and then it shows them when they're grown up. And bro, that fucks you up when you have kids because like it goes by so quick. Like I see it with my own children. Like it seems like just yesterday they were babies,
right?
And like it goes by so quickly. So I imagine it's the same thing. And to see him, like all you can do, you have just that amount of time that you have with them. Literally, you have to expect you have them from 0 to 18. They're yours. After that, you don't know what's going to happen. They may move out. They may like get married. They may get someone pregnant early, and then like whatever happens. You have this certain amount of time with them, and you feel responsible for getting them ready for the real world. And once they're in that real world, they're gone. And like, you still may hopefully like you've done it the right way, and then they still want to have something to do with you, and they're still in your life. But there's a lot of cases where the kids will fuck you, and they're gone. You know, and that's if you really fuck up. But like if you do it right, they're still with you, and like you get to see them progress and they grow up in life. But once they get on their own, they're on their own, and like you're at their disposal. Like they can come to you for help or guidance if they need you, but it's the same thing. Like you groom that horse, and you're like hoping that he puts it in the best position to succeed in its life, and it goes out, and he does, and that has to feel good. It does. Should be what you want.
I will never forget.
As a dad.
So I'm just like all over the place, but at this point, I'm like full sin in it. At one point, I was like, I was kind of in a mental hospital, like. Whenever I was maybe 23, 24, I was in a really dark spot, right?
Yeah.
And my father, as raising me all the way up until this point, he had like no idea that I was in this situation. And my ex-girlfriend like told my parents that I was acting all kind of like weird and this, that, and the other. And they sent me to a psychiatrist in, like, basically the 5th floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, the crazy fucking hospital. And I will never forget this as long as I live. I've seen my father. My father has dealt with 1,200-pound animals. I've seen him, like, just buck up to these 1,200-pound animals like they weren't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like horses rearing up, falling back on him, and he would get up and like not like punch him in the face, but he would get up and like assert dominance against these animals. Could you imagine a 1,200-pound animal rearing up, falling back on you, or like just acting fucking crazy? No. And you getting up after this animal has fell on you, you getting up and you're like, hey, motherfucker, you're not in charge. I don't give a fuck what you do. I don't care what you do.
The moment I met your dad, you take away every story you've ever told me. I met your dad, and the moment he shook my hand, I looked him in the eyes. I said, "This is a bad motherfucker." Dude, I'll tell you, like, he has that aura, that presence, and it's unspoken. And
it really is.
And like your dad is like one of those, like they say. It's cliche, and they say they don't make them like that anymore, but he's from that generation where they don't make him like that. He's just a bad motherfucker.
They do not make guys
Your dad is not just, he's a good man, he's a strong man, and he's just a tough motherfucker. Like
fucking cow spit and metal. He's made out of cow spit and metal.
Your daddy, like in a bar fight. Like,
bro, I could not imagine my father as a young boy.
Terrified. If your dad was mad at me, bro, I'd probably piss on myself. Like that day I hugged him, like at your grandpa's funeral, it was so forced. Like I hugged him, and he was like, and I'm like, yes, you know. I was like, man,
that is so funny. That like even
I felt it. Like he was so uncomfortable.
Yes,
with me.
He was so uncomfortable. He was like, bro, this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
But he's like,
But I felt like sorry, you know, but I could also tell that he was just like not feeling that. He's like, get your fucking hands off me, you fucking faggot.
That is hilarious. Like,
He's a cool.
It's
cat,
crazy,
man. And like unintentionally, he doesn't try. It's effortless. He has this. He's just got it, man.
Yeah.
He's just a bad dude.
He told me, my grandmother. I went and like.
We got to wrap this up soon because we're gonna run out of time on the
Okay.
tape, and I don't. But
Real quick.
finish this up.
Real
Yeah,
quick.
you do that.
So I went and hung out with my grandmother this weekend, and you know, she's by herself since my grandfather's passing, and she told me a lot about my family, but especially she told me a lot about my father. I told her, I said, I like horses has been a part of my life entirely.
Yeah.
I had a horse the day I was born, all the way up until I was 14, 15 years old, at least. So, like, horses have been a majority of my life. And I said, when did he get into horses? Like, y'all aren't into horses. So she said, oh, well, he got into horses after he got married. So he married my mother, right? And he found this Indian, which is insane because, like, if you don't know, like, you know my father. You know my father on a personal level.
Yeah.
He met this Indian, and, like, it was fucking insane. This Indian, like, taught him how to shoe horses and about horses. And, like, on a very deep level. I'm talking, like, Western level. You know, like, if you know anything about Westerns, it's
I know
like...
a lot about Western. That's my shit, bro.
It's like...
I've watched every Western you can imagine.
He met this Indian. He's like, hey, I need to pay attention to all of this. And, like, that's all my father told me. He wouldn't tell me his name. He wouldn't tell me none of that. He said, I met this Indian, and he taught me about horses, and he taught me how to shoe horses. And he said, ever since then, I've loved it.
So it's
and
his passion.
it's his passion. And he, like, full sent on that. So far that, like, he was president of AQHA. And if you don't know that, that would be top tier of, like, anything that you do. That would be like Grammys of, you know, acting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That is top. AQHA, being president of AQHA is top tier of horse world.
Right.
And that's just fucking insane to me. And I didn't recognize it at the time.
As a child,
Yeah, he was like, I'm president of AQHA. And I was like, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I was like,
Wow.
Wow.
You respect it more.
Yeah, I was like, this is fucking insane. And I really hate that I've talked about my father this long. But, like,
No, I wanted to tell you at the end of this, I wanted to tell you that you really carried this one, man. This is really cool. Like, you fucking carried this podcast, man. It's cool how open you were. And,
I appreciate that.
One, like, I thought it was crazy you want to talk about your gaping asshole. But, like, this other stuff that you got into about your personal life and your family is really cool. I think that people really enjoy it, and I'm sure they'll say the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
You really carried this one. This was dope. I really enjoyed this one. This one might be one of my favorites. Like, this was cool. It was cool to see you because, like, you've gotten more and more comfortable every episode, I feel like, and it makes it easier for me. And it sounds selfish, but it's really cool to see you open it up, and it lets people know who you really are, and they'll love you more for that. And that's really fucking cool, man. This is a dope one. I enjoyed this one. This was fun for me.
It was fun, man.
I hope it was fun for you guys, man. We appreciate you watching. We're going to try to keep staying consistent. I know we've been bad at this, and we're really working on it. I also did a podcast earlier this week. It's called TFG Podcast.
That was insane. That was actually
I did it on a Wednesday night. Now, they loved it the night I did it. And they were like, we cannot wait to put this out. And then, like, they haven't sent me a link since. And I'm afraid, because I was drunk in my kitchen. We did it over Zoom. I feel like it's one of the funniest, well, I don't know the funniest. It's one of the wildest podcasts I've done.
Don't downplay it. It was definitely one of the best.
Is wild.
One of the best. One of the funniest.
I've done a lot of podcasts over Zoom, and I will say something. Like, these guys made me feel the most comfortable. Like, over Zoom, it's weird because it's a lag. You're not with those people in person. You don't really even know them usually. And I will say those guys, the way they asked questions and they gave me free range to just run with it, they were very good interviewers. They were very good. It was a fun podcast to do. Look for that. I'll put it on my story and stuff when it comes out. I'll share their links. They were really good people. It's called the TFG Podcast. You can look them up, subscribe to them. They're really great guys. But I appreciate you guys watching, man, and appreciate you keeping up with us. Like, this is all still so new to us. Like, it's bizarre that you guys watch this to us. Like, none of this stuff seems interesting to us, but it's cool that you guys find it that way. And we appreciate your continued support. And we'll do another one this weekend, and I'm going to get all these out, man. I appreciate y'all watching. Tune in next time. Bye.
Hilarious because like he don't ever have a problem hugging me, obviously because I'm his child. But like,
yeah, but you gotta think your daddy's like a fucking
he's a
man's man, and like he's like, what's this fucking faggot hugging me for?
What do you hug like?
Let's test your mic.
Well, you get down to fiddle and you get down to bow. Hey, maybe I should have like just talked normal that time instead of like hollering in the mic. But you know, I have had a lot to drink, so.
Yeah, you kick off your shoes and you throw them on the floor. Dance in the kitchen in the morning light.
Louisiana Saturday night.
Make it work.